pick your class and
earn your battle points.
Because it's time for the Star Wars Battlefront podcast. Welcome to episode 162 of the Star Wars Battlefront podcast. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, joined by my brother and co-host, Sam Goodwin.
Hello there.
In this episode of the podcast, we'll be going over EA Play and what to expect, our thoughts, and our predictions on what's coming in the June update.
Let's get started.
Battlefront will not be at EA Play, but...
Episode's over. Thanks for listening, everyone.
There's a but there. There will be, they've actually announced the day that the community transmission for the June update will come out, and that will be June 7th, a day before EA Play begins. There's also something very interesting about this update. So, first off, June 7th, we're getting the community transmission. Then, later in the middle part of the month, we will get the video update. Once that drops, then we will get the actual update on the 26th. It includes the new map for Capital Supremacy, updates to the characters and heroes, but also something else. They confirmed that there will be something that has not been announced in the June update, which we have no idea what it's going to be. So in this episode, we want to kind of go over our thoughts on EA Play, what's been in the past, and what possibly could be in the June update. But first, a little news item. Heroes vs. Villains launched with 25, it was the first 25 kills wins. That was then changed to 50, and now it rests at 35. This will make the game mode a little bit quicker, rather than the longer 50 it was previously. So they felt that it was a little too short with the 25, and they had a lot of feedback that they needed to make it longer. Then they upped it to 50, but found that was a little too much, so they've gone with a middle ground of 35, which should speed up the game mode.
And this is like the way they patch things. They either make it way underpowered or make it way too overpowered. And in this case, it was either too slow or too long.
Indicative of
too fast or too long.
The DICE mantra for updating. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but it's cool. They're finding a healthy medium. They're learning from their mistakes, which is nice to see.
Exactly, and listening to player feedback is always great. Now, let's get on to the main topic. First, let's get into what we want the new unannounced edition to be. And then we'll get on to what we actually think it will be. Because those are two very different things. Because that could be like, which is something I actually want. I would love to see Coruscant added. Hands down would be amazing. I may pass out and cry if they add Coruscant. But do I think that it's going to happen? Not really. But let's get into what we want to see for this new unannounced. Previously, the unannounced addition to an update was the Infiltrator class, which I thought was a very great update. Really awesome to see. But that we even knew that they were going to add a new reinforcement. We just didn't know what it was going to be. We just had rumors on what it could be. But this, they just said that it's not announced, but something secret will be in this update. So, what do you think, Sam? What do you want it to be?
Battlefront 3. That's what I want. I'm just kidding, but I mean, obviously I want some new heroes, but that's probably not going to happen, but you know, it's what we want. So, I would like to see a new hero and villain. I know that's not happening, but more realistically, because that's ridiculous, I would like to see changes to all of the heroes and give them a fourth trait, you know, like Anakin has, his passive.
So you'd want a completely rework of all of the heroes.
Kind of like what they did in Battlefront 2015, where they gave everyone a trait system when Bosk and Dengar came out. So I would like to see something along the lines of that, changing all the heroes up, making them a little more up to date, because they are the early ones, like what we had at launch, are kind of outdated compared to the newer ones.
I also would like to see some hero changes. One thing that I've been seeing a lot of feedback on about Anakin, because I mean, we're not going to, until they change Anakin drastically, we're going to be talking about Anakin pretty consistently on the show. But what I have heard from many people, many of in the community, many people who make videos and make content for Battlefront 2, is a complete rework of Anakin, which I think he needs. He needs a from the ground rework. Little changes aren't going to affect the whole character, because if an idea is broken, it just tweaking it a little bit isn't going to change anything.
And they've done this in the past, not to the extent of what we're asking for, but they've changed, traits before, not traits, but abilities.
So I think that's something that they really need to look into, or I would really like them to look into.
Obviously they're not nerfing him enough to, warrant what they're trying to accomplish in a balanced game.
I think they are understandably scared to switch him up too much, because if they would really tweak him and make him super weak, I think that's what they're scared of. It's like, we don't want to make him extremely weak because then no one would play him. But there needs to be a balance, and they are not reaching it quite yet.
And I feel like this wouldn't be something they're adding.
No.
But I think this could be along the lines of a community transmission change, because we need reworking, but I'm honestly fine with just like nerfing him a tad bit more. I haven't really had many problems with him so far, but he's still overpowered.
Yeah, you run into Anakin and you die. Guaranteed.
And you just, add that to the amount of other heroes you have in Heroes versus Villains, like Anakin plus maybe has a posse around him, is pretty unbeatable.
Exactly. And the thing that really gets me is they have singular heroes or villains on the team that are just super overpowered, and then they keep the rest of them weak so they can call it quote unquote balanced.
And that's the problem I have with the thing, and that's why I want them to see, I want to see them change up the trade system like that, because we need a lot of reworking. Palpatine, it's kind of been sitting there collecting dust. Boba Fett is obsolete at lower tiers. He's barely playable when he's at max. So we need some changes to original heroes and villains.
I agree. Now going on reinforcements. What do you think about reinforcements? Do you think that's something that they would add in a mysterious update?
Don't think so.
Why not?
I feel like they would add a hero or villain before reinforcement, because that's kind of like, second tier for them, because heroes and villains come first and reinforcement second. And plus we just got a new wave of reinforcements, and that's saying a lot, because that was our first kind of update to the format we have. So I feel like they've, that sort of group has been, satiated.
True, but I could see them with their previous update with adding the new reinforcements, opening the door for future reinforcements. I think we would be more likely to get in this mysterious update reinforcements.
Yeah, so like Commander Cody, Captain Rex could be reinforced, but the one they added is similar to those.
Exactly. So I don't think it would be that, but I do think that them adding the new reinforcements has opened the door into the possibilities for them adding future reinforcements. So I think that's something that could be the mysterious thing in this update. My next thought in preparation for the show: what as a mysterious thing could they add that would be beneficial for the community or really switch up the game? We've gotten Capital Supremacy, which is quite a big game mode, and we haven't gotten any smaller game modes since Extraction launched in, is that February? January or February, I believe. With the solo update. That was Extraction. And then previously it had been a long time, I believe months, since we had gotten Jump Pack Cargo or Ewok Hunt. So I could definitely see a smaller game mode being something that they could add.
Well, they're obviously not adding seasons anymore.
We don't know that. We just know that they will. They're
continuing support.
Continuing support with live services. They specifically said live services.
That's not really saying much.
No, and we don't even know
if they were going to add seasons, they would have said something by now.
Well, they've said that their seasons. That the seasons are the thing that updates revolve around, like even from the beginning. The thing that gets me is we don't know if
I think their definition of support is patching the game a little more. I don't think they're going to add seasons. Do you not think that seasons.
Content would be that?
I don't know. I feel like
when they say continued support and as a live service, they say live service, so that means that they will be continuing adding things.
And patches and maps warrant them to say that, to adding things.
Exactly.
I feel like what they could add is maybe an old game mode from Battlefront 2015, like maybe Sabotage or something like that. Because we have seen them in the past, with Jabba's Palace as an example. We have seen them take, cues from the past game. Maybe what would be cool if they add all the heroes and villains from Battlefront 2015 and make them come here. Like we're missing Greedo, Dengar, and a few others. That would be cool.
Yeah.
And they could balance it out to have 2 and 2
Krennic,
possibly.
Jyn Erso.
And they have the structure and the code for that and all that.
They have addressed this specific want with a very understandable reason for it. The hero setup and the code that they have for Battlefront 2015 does not actually convert over to Battlefront 2.
But it's easier than starting from scratch because they have those models to refer to.
They have the ideas, yes.
So it's not like adding, say Anakin because they have to start from scratch. They have the base models that they can reference.
True. Something that, while you're talking, sparked a thought in me. So maybe it's not a hero. Maybe it's not a game mode. What I think could be pretty interesting is if they added Vardos as a multiplayer map. Because they have that initially. There's no going back to 2015 to rework things. No, it's in 2017 Battlefront code.
So just porting the campaign map to the multiplayer.
I don't think it would be necessarily a port of it because that's very linear. It's a very long map. But if they took all of the different aspects of that and
obviously not a pure port yet, but just a section of the map.
I think that could be something that they were like...
Pretty cool, but I feel like they would have already done that because it's pretty blaring there.
That is a pretty good point, is that why didn't they do it before?
What they need in Battlefront right now, we've got enough heroes. I mean, I'm okay with what we have. We got enough maps. We need a new game mode. And Capital Supremacy is a new game mode, but it just feels like we're either getting really big game modes or really small game modes.
You'd like a medium.
We'd like a medium. At least I would. And all the big game modes are so similar to each other that Capital Supremacy, obviously has a core mechanic, but it just feels, relatively the same. Big map, trying to do something, that's just in its core thing.
That's a very broad
a lot
look
of people.
At that.
But it just feels the same to me. Obviously, I wish... this is kind of going on a tangent, but I wish, some of the mechanics of Capital Supremacy would be a little different, but that's all me. But back to I think a game mode would work in their favor, adding to the game. Maybe like porting. I would like to see a port from 2015 Battlefront because I don't feel like they're going to add some new content with this, per se.
So this is all very larger scale. What would you say if it's just skins?
I would be happy with that. And
let's say...
Because I feel like if they were adding new content, because we need something to look forward to. Community transmissions don't get me up in the morning,
I think it's very interesting that they didn't even lead with like an idea for their announcement that there's something new.
They kind of just slipped that in.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, a brilliant ploy.
What would be amazing, but I don't think will happen, is if they're like, oh yeah, there's going to be something that we've not announced in the June update, and it's something huge. But what I think is going to happen is they're going to add skins for the characters that we don't really have skins for. Someone like Darth Maul, who hasn't had any skins since launch. Someone like Emperor Palpatine. Someone like Finn, possibly. Like Darth Vader. He could have like a beat-up version of his skin.
Because... they would have made much bigger deal of it because they need that kind of grab to the game. They kind of just mentioned it.
I think if it was something really huge,
they'd be like, oh, and we have plans for this later. Winky emoji. Because like they were doing that kind of stuff with the adding of maps. They were really teasing that before.
Yeah, the addition of Capital Supremacy,
and that's not even that that big of a deal. And like compared to this, at least.
So I think mind blow moment that I think would really, really benefit the community would be, oh yeah, we've got something planned that isn't on the roadmap. Keep your eyes peeled for it. It's going to be announced right before EA Play. And then something huge happens. But then we also have the very indicative tip of the hand with Battlefront 2 not being at EA Play. And again, we could be like, oh, well, it's not at EA Play, but they're going to do something big. They just didn't want to take the highlight away from Fallen Order.
Yeah, I didn't mean like to say they're not smart. I meant like, they can't afford to have that kind of, secrecy. They need to kind of disclose some information. So, because this game's kind of on the end game of the game, because we're kind of past the season hump. And we're just kind of coasting here on Capital Supremacy. Because if they were having some information in store, we kind of would need that to look forward to the future Battlefront. Because community transmissions are good. I look forward to them. But like not as much as I would a new season. Mm-hmm. So like them talking this, I feel like the format, like the more and more we talk about this, I think it's more and more skin oriented.
I do think that the addition is going to be skins But we also have to think that this will be prequel trilogy timeline. So it'll be prequel trilogy heroes and villains that would be getting skins. So I'd say Palpatine and Darth Maul are prime candidates for that.
It'd be cool if they made maybe some, each month they do a different era and they would add, weekly challenge skins. Like maybe they announce something like that.
I would love something like that. That is a good idea for them to be like, okay, we've got something planned up into the future. We have not announced it yet. Keep your eyes peeled. And then they launch, and it's a whole different approach to skins.
Maybe the weekend we'll have, double XP for prequel era maps or prequel era centric game modes like Capital Supremacy. And then you get, double score for playing those prequel heroes, and then, do challenges oriented to those prequel skins. Like maybe play Darth Maul a certain amount, you'll earn progress towards, robot leg Darth Maul skin.
Yeah. The problem with Battlefront and its approach to skins is it does not have enough skins. Games like Fortnite, games like Apex Legends have huge cosmetic back catalogs, huge libraries of cosmetics.
Because those two games don't release the amount of content that Battlefront does, and they just sit on skins, and that works for them. Adding just new skins, little things. And definitely easier to make a new skin for a hero than make an entire game mode or add a new hero.
Yes. So I think what it will end up being is the skin approach, and they're going to rework their whole approach to skins. I think that would be great for them. My dream, though, is that they would say we're going to have something that's unannounced in the June update. That's something that's not on the roadmap. And then launch something like a game mode. I think that would be great. Do I think it's going to happen? Not really.
Keep it on the skin train. I just wish maybe the announcement was strictly skin oriented, maybe making a whole section in the UI dedicated to skins. Cycling through, popular, maybe doing half price skins every once in a while, because that's what's going to sell skins. And they need to really realize that's a moneymaker for them, because the only reason I would buy crystals, in-game purchases would be to buy skins. So why not, if you're trying to, make a cash grab, why not exploit the thing that's going to sell the most in your game?
Make it to where I'm like, man, I want all of these skins, but I'm only going to buy one.
If Palpatine was in-app exclusive, I would pay any, the Chancellor skin, I would pay any amount of money for that.
But also, legendary skins right now are extremely expensive. In crystal money, they're $20, which I don't think...
And they're not really worth it, because they're not as cool as they make them out to be.
They're not worth it to me, and they don't have enough back catalog of skins.
And they can't say it's because lack of costumes in the Star Wars trilogy, Star Wars movies, because the costume design in the Star Wars movies is one of the most extensive in movie history.
Palpatine alone has like 15.
They add Padme and they have all the money they need.
Yes.
She changes.
They could fund a whole other game
through
off of
Padme skins.
Padme skins.
We're not asking for, big technical changes to the look of them, because you can just add different outfits to them and customize them yourself. That'd be cool. But I feel like the thing they're hinting at could most likely be skins. That's what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah, same here.
Maybe like the thing I'm hoping for is a new game mode, but most likely will be skins.
A future topic that I would love to get into, once we get into the month of July, I really want to have a discussion on post-July content, because I think that's really where we're going to see rumblings on what's next. That'll be right when the community is like, okay, we know that July is the last month that we'll be getting updates that have been announced. After July, we have no idea what's coming. August, October, November, December, we have no idea. What I would love to see is another mini season where it's like August,
I don't know, I guess
October, maybe November.
Because I'm trying to read what they're trying to do, and it's impossible. Because I'm kind of losing hope that they're going to continue with the season format and kind of quit on the game, because they're not really talking to us. They're not, opening those lines of communication as well as they need to have a healthy game. So we're kind of in the dark right now, and that's really, poor communication on their end, because they just need to announce things. Because what's the point of me playing the game if they're not going to do continued good support? And I'm talking as a consumer, because other games, like, popular games, are adding more and more content, and it's working in their favor. But we're kind of sitting on this still little phase of Battlefront right now.
I think the main reason is the length that the Clone Wars season has lent itself to, which is what I am suggesting is a mini season. Maybe it's August and October only, and it's a mini season based around the original trilogy, and we get updates for customization for stormtroopers, where we have pauldrons, where we have the dark trooper and stuff like that. And then on the opposite side, we have things for the rebels. We have different aliens available to buy. I think that would work very well. And then November, December could be lead up to, it could be a journey to Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah, this is a good format that you're suggesting, and I don't know if they're still trying to figure out what they want from the game, which is a high possibility.
We don't have to have,
but they've set
themselves seasons.
They've set themselves a standard, and everyone's expecting them to live by that. But
it's not really a standard, because we had the season format before this, and it was like a month.
But at least we knew something was coming via a season type format. That we had something to look forward to. And I'm totally down. I'm totally down with them adding little content, and maybe going back to kind of the Battlefront 2015 approach, to where it would be every few months we'd get some new content like that. And I was completely happy with that. And they just need to open the lines of communication and start saying, these are some ideas we're having. What do you think about it?
Definitely. Also, something right before we wrap up the show, I would like to have more guests on the show. So, Sammy Boy, a really great YouTuber based out of Australia, great guy, has started a YouTube-only podcast where he's talking to people. We did this a while ago where we had a lot of different guests on our show. Get in contact with us. Let us know who you would like us to have on our show, and we'll try and make that happen. Definitely going to try and work out a collaboration with Sammy Boy on his podcast and ours. Too long, didn't listen. How the heck are you even here? But
let's make a little summary. So, I will go first. So I want, I'll make my wish list here. I want a new game mode. I want new hero content. Like I said, I would really like to see him change up all the heroes to kind of match Anakin's new trait type thing. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. I definitely think they will do the kind of skin format.
Yes.
The more I talk about it, the more I think that's going to happen.
Skins, I definitely think, are the thing that they're going to be announcing. What I'd like to see is a game mode, more on the smaller scale side, since we've got Capital Supremacy. My personal want would be a new map. Something like Vardos would be sweet over hero content, because I don't expect that, but I would enjoy hero content. But just the way that the hero system is set up right now, they need to fix things before they add anything else. June 7th, the community transmission is dropping. Middle of June, we were getting the update developer video. Later in the month, on the 26th of June, we're getting the drop of the update with some mysterious thing. Heroes vs. Villains is now at 35 kills wins. And that's it for this episode of the Star Wars Battlefront podcast. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at SWB Podcast, twitter.com/SWB Podcast. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Battlefront Podcast, or on PayPal, paypal.me/TieDyeSheep, TYEDYESHEEP. And a completely free way that you can support the show is through leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps us out a ton, lets other people know what you think of the show, that people are listening, and helps us get your feedback.
Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/The Star Wars Battlefront Podcast, and also our Gmail is battlefrontpodcast@gmail.com.
If you have topic ideas, thoughts on the show, hit us up on email or on Twitter. Great ways. If you have anybody you'd like us to have on the show, send us an email, get in touch with us on Twitter, tag the person that you want to in the comment section of this episode on YouTube, on Twitter, whatever works for you. You can listen to the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you find podcasts. As always,
thanks for listening,
and may the Force be with you.
We're back in the live studio audience. Yes, we're talking about
Welcome to this episode of the Star Wars Battlefront podcast. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, joined by my brother and co-host, Sam Goodwin.
Ready?